Hi, I'm Melissa Beckett. I am running for Texas House District 7, and today I am surrounded by four young men, and we are going to have a conversation about their future, how their future is being affected by events that are happening in the world now. And why don't you each tell everybody who you are, and we'll get started.
Yeah. Hi, guys. I'm Silas Peterson. I'm Brandon Peterson.
I'm Joel Moore.
I'm Eric Bowie.
Well, great. Well, let's maybe start with who wants to talk about what's going on in the world right now and how that affects you.
Well, I'd say one of the biggest things that's on young people's hearts in America in general right now is definitely the assassination of Charlie Kirk. There are a lot of figures in the world that are, well, especially in America, that are so influential to America's youth, to my generation. People, I think of Rick Green, I think of Charlie Kirk, I think of everybody involved in TPUSA, along with a bunch of different organizations all over the country. And one of the biggest ones was Charlie Kirk, just simply because of his heart for America's youth. He wasn't a political figure. He was simply somebody that was outspoken about what he believed in. He wasn't trying to push his agenda like they claimed. He spoke out against fascism and all these things that they claimed that he was. And so it honestly paints the picture of how twisted our society can get and how evil things can really be. And so one of the things that's on especially young people's minds nowadays is just we hunger for truth. As young people, we are constant. The school system, everything is designed to twist our mentality and to brainwash us in a lot of ways. And the previous generations have not protected us from that well enough. And so things that are on our heart is people that really speak to us are the people that speak the truth. Charlie spoke the truth, and so that was one of the biggest reasons why his assassination was a big deal to us, and is a big deal to us, and has empowered so many people to create a change in this country and in the world.
Right.
I mean, there's something else to his assassination too, which is we haven't seen the like of that kind of high-profile assassination since the days of MLK.
Right.
It has been a very hard political fight in this country for a number of years. I mean, heck, you could really call that the entire history of the country if you wanted to. But we really haven't seen that kind of political violence since the days of the Civil Rights era, which should give us a little bit of pause when we consider the issues that we're talking about. Because we are talking about abortion, LGBT indoctrination, mutilation of children. We're talking about things that are of the same kind and caliber as slavery, as segregation, as the overt racism of MLK's day. And Charlie understood that. We don't, in terms of a society, I think, understand what Charlie understood. Now, he understood it because his faith was such that he understood what God cared about. He understood what the importance of things were because God cared about them. We all should take a cue from him in this respect and turn to God first, figure out what God cares about, and then turn to the country and get the country to care about what God cares about.
Yeah, that's a really good point, because he did start everything with his faith, and then everything flowed from that.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's that huge debate in ourselves as where do I classify my Christianity and my patriotism, and where do they meet, and where do I need to separate that? As a patriot, there are things I believe, freedom of religion, where I believe everyone should be able to practice their own religion. At that same time, I am a Christian. I am undoubtedly in the Lord's flock. And with that, there are just moralities that we must take from that as Christians. We are a Christian-based nation. But even with that, his greatest statements that I've heard is he said, everything that I believe is based on my Christianity, but can be found outside of it. He said, abortion is not a Christian argument. He said, it is a moral argument that we can argue. And the same thing happened with slavery. There were Christian arguments about it, but everything went to, but is it a moral argument? We have to go, this is a moral fact. No matter what book you're reading, this is wrong. And that's so much of what he stood for, was no matter where you go, turning around and mutilating children is wrong. It is evil. It's not because the Bible says so. It's because it's a fact. It's because it's plain to see that these children aren't old enough to do that. And we're doing something that sometimes they can't change. If they can change, it affects them for the rest of their life. And it's sad that we're at that spot. But he was such an important figure. And I know I can speak from experience because I am a student still at a university. When you go to a place and everybody your age and all the professors tell you to think a certain way, you begin sitting back and saying, well, maybe I'm wrong. They're pulling out facts left and right. I'm unschooled. I'm not very smart. Maybe I am wrong. And it was not long ago that I would lay down at night and I'd be going through social media and I'd find Charlie Kirk things. And I'd stop and say, that's why. I didn't know those facts. I didn't study on this stuff because I'm just a student. I'm focusing on what's in front of me, my accounting, my classes. But to hear someone so well-spoken who went to colleges and understood that we are in such a threat to be misinformed because we trust these people. We pay these people to teach us facts, and they're teaching us opinions. And he understood that, and he went and said, let there be another voice. Let there be the other opinion on college campuses. And I think we'll remember him very fondly for that.
Coming from the standpoint and perspective of a foreigner, because first I'm a foreigner, I came from Vietnam, and I have seen there are protests in every corner of the world right now from citizens who they just want their country to be back, and they have been holding a lot of events to pay tribute to Charlie Kirk all around the world. That's to show that Charlie Kirk was not some far-right extremist like the left has been labeling him. He was just a guy who loves his country, and he wants to make the young people really understand about the history of the country, the facts, and to really get in touch and get involved in protecting this country. And he was killed for being super effective. Charlie Kirk was some kind of my childhood hero ever since I was there in Vietnam. And I have always wanted to do something like him to let the kids in the United States know that how lucky they are to be born here. Because I came from a place where I was born and I was raised for more than 20 years of my life about things that I'm not supposed to say in the public. And you might get your parents arrested and never see them again, or get yourself detained and you never see your parents again. And I came here in the United States like 2 years ago, experienced a new life, new liberty and freedom. And just a few days ago, when Charlie Kirk got killed for just giving speeches, giving opinions, somebody gets killed for giving out opinions, and I was like, I smell commies here. I smell something really familiar here. And I don't like the smell of this. So I think that Americans are in a very critical time. I have seen, since Charlie Kirk's death, I have seen many young Americans getting more involved, this guy for example, in politics, and that's a good sign.
Vote for Melissa Beckett in the March 3rd Republican primary. Political ad paid for by Melissa Beckett for Texas.